Zundapp Janus. How the two-door car got lost in history. What do you think of a car with two doors on its ends rather than on the sides? That's bold even for a concept car, isn't it? However, such a car was actually mass-produced in post-war Germany and produced by a famous motorcycle manufacturer. Today we will recall the history of creation and interesting features of the Zundapp Janus microcar. After the war, German aircraft manufacturers were banned from producing airplanes, and instead of fighter planes, some of them started to create airplanes without wings, the so-called cabanenrollers. The country was experiencing an acute shortage of affordable vehicles, and full-fledged cars of the pre-war format were unavailable to German citizens. As a result, there appeared such ersatz machines, which had no wings, but had wheels, sometimes a roof and, as a rule, a motorcycle engine that moved them. Not so much in time, but in space. German aircraft designer Claude-Honoré Dornier got around the ban on airplane production after the war by resuming his work not in Germany but in Spain. His creation was the Do-25 single-engine airplane with a 150 horsepower Enma Tiger engine. In the post-war period, Claude Dornier sought to reduce the dependence of his company, Dornier Flugzeugwerk, on airplane production and diversify the business into other areas. He enlisted his son Claudius for a new project. Dornier's design thinking in the 50s encompassed not only the sky, but also the earth. In order to utilize idle capacity, he wanted to create the utilitarian four-seater car the country needed, with the most practical layout possible. And it was not about passengers sitting one behind the other, as in airplanes or Messerschmitt cockpits. Dornier Jr. went further and decided to seat the driver and three passengers with their backs to each other. The appearance of the car should have been almost symmetrical, because it, like the Isetta, was deprived of a front hood. However, unlike the BMW sidecar, access to the second row of seats was planned to be organized by the same folding door in the end of the body, but from the other side. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But in post-war Germany everything was possible. Cars with a door opening from the front like a refrigerator, cabanenrollers with a plexiglass hood instead of a roof. It was such a time. But back to Dornier's creation. The prototype was named Dornier Delta, but having analyzed the project from the economic point of view and considering it unprofitable, Claude decided not to produce the machine at his company Dornier Flugzeugwerk, but to sell the license to Zundapp. Zundapp, short for Zunder und Peribbau GmbH, was founded by Fritz Neumeyer in Nuremberg in 1917 as a manufacturer of detonators and shells. After World War I, when the demand for weapons fell, the company began to produce motorcycles. After World War I, management looked for new lines of business other than motorcycles. One of these directions became sewing machines Zundapp Elkona, which in the form of unlicensed copies were produced in the USSR under the names Tula, Volga and Zev. Thus, Dornier found it uneconomical to produce under his own brand, while remaining passionate about aviation. He offered Zundapp his brainchild, and it agreed. After all, at that time, only lazy people in Germany did not produce automobiles.